Could 1999's Dreamcast make good things come true for you in 2021? We at The Gamer are going to look at Sega's image, old school hardware, and some legendary Dreamcast games to see if you should buy a Dreamcast in 2021. Short answer, yes. Long answer, coming right up. Sega's image was the ultra-cool gaming alternative to Nintendo, and its last hurrah in the home console market was the Dreamcast.
It's thinking.
This brave warrior took on the gaming giants of its day, and like King Leonidas in 480 BC's Battle of Thermopylae in the story of the 300, showed us that the gods can bleed. The Dreamcast took respectable market share while maintaining its underground cool. In its image and in its games, it captured the essence of the late 90s, which was a time of extreme. Extreme what? Hard to say, but there were a lot of flashing lights, raves with thousands of people, and hypnotic techno music. Vin Diesel, Tony Hawk, and the Wu-Tang Clan reigned supreme. Professional wrestling had attitude, and so did Sega, and this console, its final middle finger to the man, felt extreme.
There's only one drink fat enough to quench our thirst, and that's Turbo Sweet 7. Cut!
It had been said that when you buy something, you buy the image that was marketed to you, even if you know deep down inside that's not possible.
Drinks break because you like it, not because an athlete says he does.
With Sega, you were buying a piece of the rebellion. You were participating in overthrowing something. Nintendo maybe? Corporations? Your parents? Probably all three, and anyone else not cool, or not extreme. Like a motorcycle or a leather jacket, the Dreamcast is a symbol of non-conforming, and maybe even a fun level of danger. Be a bad boy or a bad girl and buy one in 2021. Sure, you could emulate with Redream as shown here by your casual gamer, or even mod the already respectable hardware if you're hardcore like YouTuber Long Island Retro Gaming. But it just doesn't feel the same as plugging those old school wires into an old school TV and hitting that power button. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. There are neat Dreamcast controller accessories, like the force feedback tremor pack which buzzed in key moments in games, and the visual memory unit, or VMU, which you could store your saved games on and play mini-games as extensions of certain games. It was a small mini console in essence, adding to your gaming experience. The Dreamcast can connect to the internet, and Sega.net used to be a thing, where you used to be able to play some games online as well as download add-on content. Even though it's now offline, you can still to this day surf the web on your Dreamcast. You can't even do that with a PS5 right now except through Twitter. Weird. The add-on Dreamcast Enforcer was wonderful if you really wanted to take the arcade experience home with you. This was the best thing to happen to the fans of arcade controllers since the Nintendo Advantage, which, if you might recall, the Ghostbusters used to control the Statue of Liberty. The guns, guns, guns brought the arcade shooter feel to the small screen.
You just keep this around?
You can feel like a Texan with the wide selection of pretend firearms you can play Virtua Cop 2 with.
This is Texas.
You have your Mad Catz blaster, your Starfire, your Pelican, the Eurogun, and the ultra-rare Desert Eagle .50 AE Dreamcast light gun with blowback action. The official keyboard was useful for playing Phantasy Star Online, and the fishing controller, which you could use with Sega Bass Fishing and Sega Marine Fishing, as well as for the fishing sections of Sonic Adventure, was pretty cool. And you could actually use this thing for non-fishing games like Soul Calibur for some reason. Does being able to play regular games with a fishing rod a good reason to buy a console? Hard to say, but all in all, the beauty of the Dreamcast is it feels like an arcade cabinet at home, and all for the fraction of the price. And now, the most importante feature of any gaming console, the games. Let's start this off with the best of the best. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes is heralded as the best Dreamcast game overall. So if you're the type to say Tom Brady is the best football player or LeBron James is the best basketball player, you might want to opt to play this title if it's the only one you have the time to button mash on. For fans of the genre, there's a plethora of games for you to try on the Dreamcast from one of the golden eras of fighting games. The 480 experience is not exactly comparable to 4K or, of course, not 8K experiences out there, but the Dreamcast's graphics were no joke at the time and don't hold up too badly. Quite a feat considering 2021's crazy super-duper high standards. It's fun to revisit the best of an era and imagine what it would have been like to have seen nothing like it up to then. It's like imagining what it would have been like to see Star Wars in theaters in 1977 or Godzilla in 1953. If it was the best visual experience you'd had up to then, you'd hold those images dear for the rest of your days. I'd love to erase my memory of playing all the pretty racing games I've ever played after '99 and game on TNN Motorsports' hardcore heat. The Dreamcast had some other memorable racing titles worth revisiting, like Flag to Flag, the first game where you got to see dead bugs accumulate on your Formula One racer's windshield. Monaco's Grand Prix ain't nothing compared to F1 2020, but it's still fun to see how racing fans passed the time in '99. And speaking of '99, fans of the Fast and the Furious could avoid getting speeding tickets and jail time after seeing the movie by using Tokyo Extreme Racer as their outlet while they waited for Tokyo Drift to be released. In this game, you could flash your high beams behind another potential racer and initiate drag races, earning dough for car mods. You could also take your need for speed to the water in Dreamcast's Hydro Thunder, where you get to boat some rocket-powered marine crafts. The game is one of the most beloved on the Dreamcast, probably because of all the college dorm rooms it brought joy to 21 years ago. Crazy Taxi was the game at the local bowling alley where I grew up, and I didn't have enough money to play, but I would often watch the older kids play. And you know what? The fantasy of what it would have been like to play the game was actually pretty satisfying. I had a brief boxing career, and after a long day of getting beat up in sparring practice, Ready to Rumble Boxing was the game where I could live out my over-the-top fighting fantasies while I iced my face. Playing that game at my brother's house brought me comfort as I knew the harsh realities of the boxing world couldn't hurt me there. Maybe you're saying to yourself, okay, that's a story, but why would I want to relive moments of your life? Well, why relive moments of anybody's life? It could be a vacation from your own, to connect across time and space to a down-and-out fighter trying to work things out, or to the teens and tweens at arcades in the early aughts watching the big boys play Crazy Taxi over their shoulders. All in all, retro games and consoles don't only connect us to the old hardware and software, but to people from different times and places. These people had hopes, dreams, money problems.
Flynn, are you embezzling?
First crushes.
I need you right now.
And birthdays just like you. And many went to the Sega Dreamcast for an alternate reality, a 3D world for the whatever generation. Go back and see life through the eyes of gamers past. It will look less pixelated than it does now, and you might learn something.
What was his name?
Sega Dreamcast.
There were many other games out there we didn't mention, like WWF Royal Rumble, Power Stone 2, and Jet Set Radio. There are even HDMI adapters for the Dreamcast to upscale its output to 1080p. One more reason to buy, and giving you one more reason to cast a like and dream of subscribing. You dig?